Jazz guitar friends, Larry Tamanini here with Jazz Guitar under 5 minutes. Hey, you just caught me playing through You Stepped Out of a Dream, one of my favorite jazz standards to play. And I picked this song for a very special reason, because it has a C major and a D flat major. And I like songs that kind of have major chords and have chromatic stuff happening as well. Check the box for both of these, right? So, the main reason I'm here today is to talk about scale-based jazz playing versus actually playing jazz. So, as you'll notice, I have my Duke basketball hoodie on. I love college basketball. I think it's the greatest sporting event of the year. I'm going to be on the couch watching a lot of hoops. And when I'm on the couch, I'll either be yelling at the TV, making bad food decisions, or playing guitar. Sometimes I do all three. Oh yeah. But when I'm on the couch and I'm playing, I'm usually kind of playing my scales, kind of into the game. I just want to get my fingers moving. And you'll notice I played a C major scale, right? Right? Perfect form. I guess some people will have some stuff to say, but anyways, it's all good. So I played the C major. Now, if I was a scale bass player and I had that next chord as a D flat, sometimes it's hard just to learn that key of D flat, but luckily, I'm sure myself and lots of other of us have gone back and learned all our scales, and you can learn all your scales and know all your chords and arpeggios and still kind of suck at playing jazz guitar. And I think it's really frustrating. I was at that point where you go back and you learn everything and then it almost becomes harder. So what happens is if you're trying to play jazz the way you would practice your scales, and this is an easy trap to fall into. I believe when you're playing with your, like I just did, you'll notice I didn't use my pinky. I think when you use your pinky, that's kind of where phrases go to die. So let's just say played that kind of idea, even maybe I arpeggiated, Now I'm up here. Am I going to really run with my pinky more than a half step? Probably not. Do a lot of us play off our pinky a lot? Again, I think when you end on your pinky, your phrases have a really good chance of not being able to go anywhere. You kind of run out of real estate. So the way I did the first time, I kind of used my third finger. It's a lot easier to get an idea off with your third finger. You can it's easier to go slide down, it's easier to go, and then get back to that first finger. The same thing goes with arpeggios, right? Now, something that I was doing, and another thing that I practice, is I'll play my dominant 7 chords, right? And I'll try to run through them a couple different ways. If I'm playing in 1 octave, that's kind of how I do. I use my third finger, right? Now, if I were to play 2 octaves, I kind of get up to my third there. I get over an octave. That's another thing you want to talk about. What makes a line a strong line and a non-scalular line? Well, other than just not being in noodle country and playing a scale, I think the idea of going over that octave. In jazz theory and music theory, we have 9s and 13s and sharp 11s for a reason, you know. There's a big difference between a sharp 11 and a flat 5. To have a sharp 11, there has to be the idea of that regular 5th in there, right? So you get like that kind of cool sound. You're not really playing a chord like that. If I wanted to play a flat 5 chord, you know, I would definitely want to put that sharp 11 on top. If I'm playing a flat 5, I'm thinking that's more of a diminished thing at first, right? Because there's my flat 5. 11's a little different. So again, let's use this scale idea. You know, this song has a great chance to do that because you have a C and a D flat. I think a line that I played, something like that, you know, you're keeping that melodic contour going over an octave, which makes your line and your phrasing sound a lot stronger. You can have a little bit of a typewriter-itis, you know, where you kind of, you know, that's kind of how we would practice that C to D flat, right? But let's try to play through that idea. So what I ended up doing there was keeping that line all the way. I ended on that 4th of B flat, right? That's the LT lick number 1. But what I ended up doing was I used about an octave and a half of the guitar, maybe a little bit more. So that line had a lot more of a contour versus just kind of like going up to the octave and then coming back and then doing that for the next one. But really not even going over the next octave because I'm just going to still stop at that C for the D flat. If you find yourself hating a lot of the lines that you're playing, chances are you're just stuck in the imaginable, you know, the imaginary fence within like a 2, 3, 4, 5 fret area, and you're still playing that same kind of thing. Imagine if you were trying to have a conversation and you just sort of talked like that. You never really got too excited, you never really got too animated. That would be kind of boring, right? So the idea of trying to change the way you're approaching your soloing versus your practicing is a really important thing to do. Can you practice your scales with 1 or 2 fingers? Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's really important to do that. Same thing with your arpeggios. I kind of did a couple other things. Got a little slippy slidey there, but you get the idea. There's a couple different ways to approach the guitar, up and down and across. I've always felt it's easier to go up and down. But if you're going to go up and down, use more up and use more down. That way, when you start to go linearly, it'll make even more of a difference, right? So a couple things that we can do to get out of our scale playing versus our, to get into jazz playing. Number 1, don't use your pinky that much. When you're practicing your scales and your arpeggio, your pinky is an integral part of that, but maybe not going to be so happening when you're trying to play jazz. Especially, for chords, duh, yeah, sure, you're going to use your pinky for chords. But for other stuff, maybe not so much. Same thing goes for playing your lines in one sort of octave. You should try to use an octave and a half and more of your instrument to get a good contour. It's all about shapes. So, all right, jazz guitar friends, happy jazz guitaring. Let's go Duke. I got Duke going to the Final Four, but I have UConn winning it all. And in the women's bracket, I have Notre Dame going to Notre Dame and Iowa. So it's going to be a great couple days of basketball and guitar. While you're on the couch, get some productive guitar playing going. Bebop!